There is a power within you, a power that does not wait for proof, for evidence, or for the world to confirm its truth. It is the creative force of assumption, the law by which all things are made. You are not a passive observer in life. You are the operant power, the one who shapes reality by the images you hold in your mind and the feelings you allow to take root in your heart. Every great success begins in the unseen. The world around you, everything you now call real, was once invisible. Someone dared to believe it into being. Someone persisted in the assumption that it already was, despite appearances to the contrary. And just as they did, so must you. The moment you claim your success as an absolute fact, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect that claim. Do you truly believe in the power that lies within? If so, you will not look for signs. For signs follow, they do not precede. You will not wait for permission, for the only authority you need is your own conviction. Walk, speak, and think as the one who already holds the prize. Not as a performer, not as one pretending, but as one who knows. The feeling of certainty, of having arrived, must flood your being. There is nothing to force, nothing to struggle against. The mere acceptance of your success as present reality is the work. If you can see it in your mind, if you can feel the thrill of its possession, you have already secured it. The world will move, people will shift, circumstances will unfold in ways you could not have planned. But all of it begins with a simple, unwavering decision to act as if your biggest success is already here. You are the operant power, the one who gives life to all that you experience. Everything you see, touch, and call real is a reflection of your inner world, the assumptions you hold, and the beliefs you accept as true. Nothing happens to you by chance. There are no external forces dictating your fate apart from the ones you consent to within yourself. This is the great truth that few dare to embrace, yet it is the key to unlocking the life you desire. Most people live as if they are at the mercy of the world, reacting to circumstances, waiting for things to change before they allow themselves to feel successful, happy, or secure. They see their bank account and decide whether they are rich or poor. They look at their relationships and determine whether they are loved or lonely. They base their identity on what the world reflects back to them. But this is an illusion. The world is not the cause, it is the effect. The true cause lies within you, within the thoughts you persistently hold, the emotions you entertain, and the assumptions you refuse to let go of. You must come to realize that you are not merely a participant in life, you are the creator. The power that shapes your destiny is not something outside of you. It is not in luck, fate, or circumstances. It is within your own consciousness, within the assumptions you accept and persist in. The moment you understand this, you will no longer live by reaction, but by creation. You will no longer wait for signs before you believe. Instead, you will believe first, and the signs will follow. To grasp this power, you must first take full responsibility for your life. This is not about blame, but about recognition. The moment you acknowledge that your life is a mirror of your consciousness, you reclaim your ability to change it. You are no longer bound by what has been. You are free to create what will be. The only limitation is your own imagination and the assumptions you choose to entertain. Consider the way a sculptor works. He does not look at a block of marble and wait for it to reveal the finished statue to him. He sees in his mind the masterpiece that already exists within the stone, and he carves away everything that is not in alignment with that vision. In the same way, you must hold in your mind the vision of the life you desire, and you must remove every doubt, fear, and contradictory assumption that stands in its way. If you accept that you are the operant power, then you must also accept that nothing is beyond your ability to create. There are no exceptions, no circumstances too difficult, no conditions too far gone. The only thing that matters is your inner conviction. The world bends to the one who is sure of what they are. The moment you assume something to be true and persist in that assumption, reality has no choice but to conform. This is not wishful thinking, it is a law as precise and certain as gravity. Many people hear this truth and resist it. They argue that life is unpredictable, that external forces are too strong, that change is slow and difficult. But this is only true for those who believe it to be so. The one who understands their own power does not need external validation. They do not need the world to show them proof before they believe. They believe first, and the world adjusts itself accordingly. Think of any great success story, and you will see this principle in action. Every great inventor, every visionary, every leader who changed the course of history began with nothing more than an idea, a belief that something could exist even when the world told them otherwise. They did not wait for the world to agree with them. They persisted in their vision until the world had no choice but to reflect it back to them. You must do the same. Stop looking at what is and letting it dictate what will be. The circumstances you see today are only the outpicturing of your past assumptions. If you want a different future, you must assume a different reality now. Do not wait for external confirmation. Act as the one who already has what they desire. Speak as them, think as them, feel as them. And as surely as the sun rises, your world will shift to reflect your new assumption. There is no need to struggle, no need to force things to happen. Creation is not about effort, it is about assumption. The moment you accept something as true, the unseen forces of reality begin working to bring it into form. People will move, events will unfold, opportunities will appear, but all of it begins with you. Your only task is to assume and persist, to hold unwaveringly to the state of the wish fulfilled. If you look at the world and see lack, failure, or struggle, it is because you have accepted those as your reality. But the moment you choose to see abundance, success, and ease, those too must become your reality. Nothing can appear in your world unless it first exists in your consciousness. This is why you must guard your mind, train yourself to see only what you wish to experience. Doubt and fear may arise, but they have no power unless you accept them. The moment you feel doubt creeping in, remind yourself of the truth. You are the operant power. Nothing outside of you has authority over your life. The only thing that matters is what you choose to believe. The world will test you not because it is against you, but because it is a mirror. If you waver in your assumption, if you allow yourself to be swayed by appearances, the world will reflect that uncertainty back to you. But if you remain firm, if you refuse to accept anything less than what you have assumed to be true, then nothing can stop it from becoming reality. This is not about pretending or playing a role. It is about knowing. When you assume something is true, you do not act as if it simply becomes who you are. The person who believes they are successful does not need to prove it to anyone. They walk with the quiet confidence of someone who knows. They do not seek validation, for they already possess the inner conviction that what they desire is theirs. Your success, your happiness, your fulfillment, they are all within you now. They are waiting for you to claim them, to assume them as true, and live from that assumption. The world cannot withhold anything from the one who knows their power. When you stand firm in the belief that your desire is already yours, the universe moves to make it so. The only question is, will you claim it? Do not wait for evidence before you believe. Do not wait for the world to confirm what you desire. The key to manifesting success is to assume it is already yours and to live from that state of mind. You must no longer approach life as if you are striving towards something in the distance. You must embody the reality that what you seek is already accomplished, that it is already unfolding, that you are already the person who has it. Most people live their lives in a constant state of waiting. They wait for their circumstances to improve, for their dreams to become possible, for opportunities to arrive. They believe that once they see the changes they desire, then they will believe in them. But the truth is, the external world is only a reflection of the inner world. The results you seek will never appear until you first claim them within yourself. To live from the end means to step into the feeling of already having what you desire. It is not about pretending or faking it. It is about knowing that it is done. When you decide that something is already yours, your mind, body, and actions align with that assumption. You carry yourself differently. You think differently. You speak with certainty, and your energy shifts. Think of a person who has already achieved great success. They do not wake up wondering if they are successful, hoping that the world will reassure them. They know who they are. They move through life with confidence, certainty, and purpose. They do not question whether success belongs to them. They operate from the conviction that it does. And because they think and act in alignment with that belief, their world continues to reflect their inner certainty. You must do the same. If you desire financial prosperity, you must no longer think like someone struggling with money. You must stop identifying with lack, with worry, with the idea that money is difficult to obtain. Instead, you assume the state of wealth. You think, feel, and act as someone who already possesses abundance. You move through life with a quiet assurance that money flows to you easily, that you are always provided for. That wealth is a natural part of your existence. If you desire love, you must no longer see yourself as someone searching for it. You do not wonder if you are worthy, if love will come, if you are good enough. You assume that love is already present in your life. You feel cherished, adored, deeply connected to the partner you desire. You speak and act from a place of fulfillment, not need. And as you live in that state, love appears in your world in ways you could never have planned. Your assumptions dictate your reality. The moment you accept something as true and live from that truth, the world adjusts itself to match your conviction. It may seem impossible, but it is no different from the way a seed grows into a tree. You do not force the process. You do not question whether the seed will become what it is meant to be. You trust that the moment the seed is planted, nature takes care of the rest. Imagine a person who has been struggling with their career. They have tried everything, worked hard, faced countless rejections, and yet success still seems out of reach. If they continue to identify as someone who struggles, if they keep believing that success is difficult, then that is exactly what they will continue to experience. But the moment they shift their perspective, the moment they assume the identity of someone who is already successful, everything changes. They no longer speak of struggle, they speak of certainty. They no longer focus on obstacles, they focus on possibilities. Their actions align with their new assumption, and soon the world must reflect that change. This is not wishful thinking, it is a fundamental law. The external world is always a mirror of the internal state. When you shift your assumption, when you embody the reality of your success, the world has no choice but to conform. If you want to experience abundance, you must think from abundance. If you want to experience joy, you must think from joy. If you want to experience love, you must think from love. Every great transformation begins within. It is easy to fall into doubt, to look at your current reality and feel as though nothing is changing. But that is the greatest illusion. The moment you decide to live from the end, the process has already begun. Just as a tree takes time to grow, just as a river takes time to carve its path, the changes you seek are unfolding beneath the surface. Your only task is to remain faithful to your assumption, to refuse to waver, to hold firm to the reality you have claimed as yours. Think of the person who has already achieved what you desire. How do they think? How do they feel? How do they carry themselves? Begin to embody that state now. Do not wait for circumstances to change. Become the change. Speak with the authority of someone who knows their success is inevitable. Walk with the confidence of someone who is already living their dream. Many people hear this truth and resist it. They argue that they cannot act as if they are wealthy when their bank account says otherwise. They believe they cannot feel loved when they are alone. They think they cannot experience success until they have proof. But this is the very mindset that keeps them stuck. The person who waits for proof will always be waiting. The person who believes first will always receive. Living from the end is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing which reality to accept. You can accept the one that reflects lack and limitation, or you can accept the one that reflects fulfillment and abundance. The choice is always yours. There is no force outside of you that determines your success, no external power that grants or denies your desires. The only thing that shapes your life is your own state of consciousness. What you assume to be true will become true. What you persist in feeling will solidify into your world. Nothing is stopping you except the belief that you must wait. But there is nothing to wait for. The success you seek is already yours the moment you claim it. Live from that truth and watch as your world reshapes itself around you. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. It is not a place of idle fantasy, but the creative force that shapes your reality. Every great achievement, every invention, every breakthrough in history first existed in the imagination of someone who dared to see beyond what was visible. When you harness the power of imagination and align it with the conviction that your desire is already fulfilled, you set into motion an unseen process that brings your vision to life. Most people underestimate the power of their imagination. They believe it is separate from reality, that it is merely a place of dreams that have no real effect on the world. But the truth is, imagination is the blueprint from which reality is constructed. The life you live today is a direct reflection of the thoughts and images you have consistently held in your mind. The home you live in, the work you do, the relationships you experience, each of these began as an idea before it took form. Nothing can exist in your world unless it first exists in your imagination. To create success, you must first see yourself as successful. You must not only think about success as a distant goal, but feel it as a present reality. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself already living the life you desire, you are aligning yourself with that experience. You are training your mind and body to accept it as truth. The more vivid and real your imagination becomes, the more natural it feels, and the more quickly it manifests in your physical world. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It accepts whatever you persistently impress upon it. If you continuously imagine yourself struggling, failing, or being unworthy of success, your subconscious will shape your world to match those assumptions. But if you deliberately fill your mind with images of triumph, abundance, and fulfillment, your subconscious will bring those experiences into your life. The greatest mistake people make is using their imagination to reinforce their limitations instead of their potential. They replay past failures, dwell on fears, and envision worst-case scenarios, not realizing that by doing so, they are unconsciously creating more of the same. Every time you allow yourself to indulge in thoughts of doubt or defeat, you are strengthening those conditions in your life. But the moment you take control of your imagination and use it to picture only what you desire, you begin to reshape your world. If you desire financial success, begin to see yourself as already wealthy. Picture yourself living in the home you want, experiencing the freedom and security that come with abundance. Feel the ease of knowing that money flows to you effortlessly, that you are always provided for. Walk through life with the inner confidence of someone who has already achieved financial prosperity. Let that feeling become so real within you that it no longer feels like a dream, but a certainty. If you seek love, do not dwell on loneliness or the absence of connection. Instead, imagine yourself in a relationship filled with deep love and understanding. See yourself being cherished, valued, and adored. Feel the presence of your ideal partner, even if they have not yet appeared in your physical world. The moment you embody the feeling of already having love, you become a magnet for it. The right people, the right circumstances, and the right experiences will naturally gravitate toward you. One of the most powerful ways to impress your imagination upon your subconscious is through the technique of mental rehearsal. This is the practice of repeatedly visualizing your desired outcome with full sensory detail. Athletes, performers, and successful individuals across all fields use this technique to achieve extraordinary results. They see themselves succeeding before it happens. They feel the emotions, hear the sounds, and engage all their senses in the experience. And because their subconscious mind accepts these imagined events as real, their bodies and actions naturally align to make them a reality. Your success is no different. If you want to experience a major breakthrough in your life, begin by rehearsing it in your mind. Picture yourself standing in the moment of triumph. If your goal is to receive an award, imagine yourself walking onto the stage, hearing the applause, feeling the weight of the trophy in your hands. If you desire business success, see yourself closing major deals, expanding your influence, and celebrating your achievements. If you dream of traveling the world, envision yourself stepping onto a plane, feeling the excitement of new destinations, and experiencing the beauty of different cultures. What you repeatedly focus on in your imagination becomes your reality. Every great innovator, artist, and leader has understood this principle. They did not wait for the world to show them proof. They created the proof within their minds first. They believed in their vision before anyone else could see it. And because they held on to that belief with unwavering conviction, the world had no choice but to conform. Your mind is your most powerful tool. It is the birthplace of every possibility, the origin of every success, the foundation of everything you will ever experience. If you can master the art of controlled imagination, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Doubt will try to creep in. The logical mind will attempt to dismiss your vision as unrealistic. The world may not yet reflect your desires, but none of that matters. What matters is what you choose to accept as true. If you persist in imagining the reality you desire, it will become inevitable. The time to use your imagination is now. Do not wait for circumstances to change before you believe in your success. Do not allow temporary appearances to dictate your inner world. Take control of your imagination and fill it only with thoughts of what you desire. See yourself as the person you wish to be. Live in the certainty that your greatest success is already unfolding. The moment you fully commit to this practice, your world will begin to transform. Doors will open where there were none before. Opportunities will arise in ways you never expected. The invisible forces of the universe will move in perfect harmony to bring your vision to life. But it all begins with you, your imagination, your belief, your willingness to live in the end before it has arrived. Let your imagination be your guide. Dare to see beyond what is visible. Persist in your vision with absolute certainty, and watch as the world bends to reflect the reality you have chosen. There is an unseen force that governs all things, a divine intelligence that moves in perfect harmony with your beliefs. When you understand this, you will realize that success is not something you must chase, but something you align with. Every experience, every opportunity, every result in your life is a direct reflection of what you accept as true within yourself. The world outside you is not separate from you. It is an expression of your inner state. Change what you believe to be true about yourself, and your reality will conform. Most people believe they must work harder, struggle more, and fight against resistance to achieve their desires. They see success as something outside themselves, something they must reach for. But this belief only creates more struggle because it is rooted in the assumption that what they desire is absent. And as long as they continue to assume its absence, they reinforce its distance from them. The key to true success is not in effort alone, but in alignment. You do not need to force success into your life. You need to become the version of yourself that naturally attracts it. The version of you that has already achieved success exists right now. In the infinite possibilities of creation, that reality is already complete. The only reason you do not yet experience it is that you are still identifying with a version of yourself that has not yet received it. The moment you shift your identity, the moment you see yourself as the person who already has what you desire, the world will rearrange itself to match that assumption. To live in alignment with success, you must first become it in your mind. You must feel the way you would feel if everything you desired had already been accomplished. Walk through life carrying the inner knowing that success is inevitable, that it has already been done, and that all you are doing now is stepping into its fulfillment. When you adopt this state of mind, you no longer act from a place of lack or desperation. You act with confidence, clarity, and purpose, because you are no longer seeking success, you are embodying it. Your energy changes when you live in this state. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you make decisions, all of it shifts. People notice. Opportunities present themselves. The world reflects back to you the certainty you hold within. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract success effortlessly? It is not because they are lucky or more capable. It is because they have aligned their inner state with the reality of success. They do not question whether they will succeed. They move as though it is already done. If you want to experience this transformation in your own life, you must begin to see yourself differently. Right now, you may hold beliefs that limit you, beliefs that tell you success is hard, that you are not ready, that others have more advantages. But these are just assumptions you have accepted over time, and they are only true for as long as you believe them. The moment you decide to believe something new, your world will change to reflect it. Success is not something that happens to you, it is something that flows through you. When you are in alignment, you do not have to force things to happen. You become a magnet for the right people, the right circumstances, and the right ideas. Have you ever had a moment where everything seemed to unfold perfectly, as if guided by an unseen hand? That is the power of alignment. When you no longer resist, when you no longer doubt, when you step fully into the assumption of success, life begins to work in your favor. Doubt is the only thing that delays what is already yours. The moment you start questioning if success will come, you step out of alignment with it. The moment you worry about how things will happen, you introduce resistance. But when you trust, when you hold firm in your inner knowing, there is no longer anything blocking the flow of success into your life. This is why belief is more powerful than effort alone. You can take all the action in the world, but if deep down you still see yourself as someone who struggles, your actions will lead you back to struggle. But if you shift your belief, if you truly see yourself as someone who is already successful, then even the smallest action will lead to extraordinary results. Success is not about waiting for the right conditions. It is about embodying the right mindset now. Do not look at your current reality to determine what is possible. Your external world is only a reflection of past assumptions. If you want to see something different, you must first assume something different. If you want to live in wealth, assume wealth. If you want to experience love, assume love. If you want to be successful, assume success. The moment you make this shift, you will notice the world respond. You will meet people who can help you. You will have ideas that lead to breakthroughs. You will find yourself in situations that open new doors. It will seem like coincidence, but it is not. It is simply the natural unfolding of your new state of being. There is no force outside of you withholding success. The only thing that has ever held it back is your own belief that it is not yet yours. The moment you let go of that belief, the moment you truly accept that you are already the person who has achieved everything you desire, your life will transform. You must act as if your biggest success is already here, not because you are pretending, but because in a higher reality it is already done. You are simply catching up to it. When you carry yourself in this way, you send a clear message to the universe. I am ready. And when you are ready, all things move to meet you. Every moment you are shaping your reality through the assumptions you hold. Whether you are aware of it or not, your life is an exact reflection of the beliefs you carry deep within. The success you desire is not something waiting for you in the distant future. It already exists in the realm of imagination. The only thing separating you from experiencing it is your own acceptance of it as real. When you assume the feeling of already having what you desire, the world around you begins to shift in response. You no longer act as someone striving for success, but as someone who already possesses it. Your inner conversations are the blueprint of your external reality. What you repeatedly tell yourself, the dialogues that run through your mind day after day, determine the course of your life. If you are constantly affirming to yourself that success is hard to achieve, that opportunities are scarce, or that you are not yet ready, then you are reinforcing that reality. But when you take control of these inner conversations and deliberately align them with the reality you want to experience, everything begins to change. Imagine yourself as already successful. How do you think? What do you tell yourself? Do you dwell on doubt, or do you move with certainty? Do you complain about obstacles, or do you see them as stepping stones? The successful version of you already knows the answers. That version of you does not worry about whether things will work out, because the assumption of success is already embedded within. You must adopt this mindset now. You must speak to yourself as though you have already arrived. Your inner world and your outer world are not separate. They are one and the same. What you assume internally will inevitably be expressed externally. This is why people who believe they are lucky always seem to experience good fortune, while those who expect failure continue to find evidence of it. It is not luck, it is the power of assumption. The world merely reflects back to you the reality you accept as true. If you want to live a life of success, your mind must become a place where success is natural. You cannot afford to entertain thoughts of lack, doubt, or fear. The moment you catch yourself thinking in ways that contradict your desired reality, you must redirect your thoughts. Not with force, but with gentle awareness. When you notice a thought that does not serve you, replace it with one that does. If you catch yourself thinking this is too difficult, shift it to I always find a way. If you hear yourself say, I don't know if I can do this, replace it with success is already mine. You do not need to force external circumstances to change first. That is an illusion. The change must begin within, and then the outer world will adjust accordingly. People often make the mistake of thinking that once they achieve a certain level of success, they will feel confident. But in truth, the confidence must come first. Once you assume the identity of someone who is already successful, your actions, decisions, and energy begin to align with that reality. The world will reflect this new assumption back to you. Think of the people you admire, those who have achieved great things. Do they hesitate in their belief in themselves? Or do they move through life with the certainty that their success is inevitable? That level of certainty is not something they acquired after success. It is what led to their success. They assumed it before they had any external proof, and that assumption became their reality.